An incredible millionaire buys out a child's sweets stand, revealing a life-changing request. The summer sun danced over Maplewood, casting a golden glow that made Emma's sweets stand look even more inviting. The air was filled with the sweet, sugary scent of homemade candies, and as she rang up her latest customer, a group of excited children giggled nearby, their faces smeared with colorful icing. For Emma, this stand was more than just a place to sell treats. It was her family's legacy. It was a slice of happiness amidst the hardships they faced, especially with her mom working late every night just to make ends meet. Emma's heart swelled with pride as she handed out her delicious creations, each sale bringing her closer to the dreams she held tightly, helping her mom with overdue medical bills and getting enough school supplies for the coming year. Life was tough, but her stand, built on love and resilience, stood strong against the challenges they faced. Then came that ordinary afternoon that turned extraordinary. A sleek black car rolled up, its glossy surface reflecting the vibrant flowers that lined the street. Out stepped Greg Thompson, the millionaire whose name sent waves of admiration and contempt throughout the neighborhood. With slicked back hair and a smile too perfect, he approached, his eyes scanning the little stand with a possessive gleam. "Wonderful little operation you have here, Emma," he said, his voice smooth and captivating. "I want to buy you out. Imagine this place transformed into a trendy cafe. The possibilities are endless." Emma felt herself freeze. The words "buy you out" echoed in her mind like a thunderclap, drowning out the laughter of her customers. The irritation from her neighbors was palpable. Murmurs among them grew louder, each voice steeped in outrage. "This stand isn't just a business," shouted Mrs. Johnson, a local teacher. "It's a piece of our hearts." In that moment, Emma clutched her apron tightly. This wasn't just about her sweets. It was about family and community. She could feel the weight of their expectations looming over her, the responsibility to defend this small oasis of joy. Just as confusion swirled around her, Greg shared a piece of his life she never expected. "My daughter Lily struggles with feeling connected. She needs this," he said, his voice softening. Emma saw the pain behind his polished exterior. Maybe, just maybe, he was asking for more than just a business transaction. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that is happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let us continue with his vulnerability exposed. Emma felt her heart race. Was there a chance to bridge the divide between rich and poor, between Greg's world and hers? Could a partnership with someone she had once viewed as the enemy spark a change, a chance for both their families to heal? As she stood there, emotions swirling like a summer storm, a question filled her mind. Could she risk it all and redefine success with him by her side, or would this quest lead to losing not just her stand, but everything she held dear? The stakes were higher than ever, and Emma could feel her future, her family's legacy hanging in the balance. Emma stood there, her heart pounding in her chest, the warmth of the summer sun contrasting sharply with the chill of uncertainty. The murmurs of the crowd filtered in and out, a chaotic symphony of voices debating what ownership meant, what it could take from her, and what it might give to Greg. "Why don't we talk over there? Just away from the crowd," Greg suggested, gesturing toward a small bench under a nearby oak tree. That tree had stood for decades, a silent witness to countless childhood memories, a perfect place to hold a conversation about dreams and legacies. With a nod, Emma picked her way through the crowd, her feet light but her mind heavy. She could feel the weight of curious eyes trained on her, judging, waiting, wondering what this meeting with the millionaire would mean. She settled onto the bench, its rough wood pressing against her skin, reminding her of the work that had gone into building her stand, the countless early mornings prepping sweets, the pride of sharing them with the town. Greg sat beside her, his hands folded comfortably in his lap. "I know it seems strange," he started, his tone shifting to something less rehearsed, more earnest. "But I really believe this could be something special for both of us. Emma raised an eyebrow, her skepticism palpable. What do you mean, both of us? This is my dream, my family's stand. It's not just a business deal. Of course, he nodded earnestly, running a hand through his perfectly styled hair. But hear me out. My daughter Lily, she feels lost. Ever since her mom passed away, she hasn't found her footing. I thought perhaps working here, being around kids and your amazing creations could help her reconnect with life, with joy. Emma blinked, the tight knot of animosity between them loosening just a bit. She could never imagine the shadow of such loss creeping into a flashy mansion. You think she could just come here and help? Yes. A place like this, full of laughter, colors, and sweet scents, it could heal her in ways I can't, he added, his demeanor shifting to sincerity, his eyes reflecting vulnerability. And in return, I could bring resources to help your stand grow. Imagine expanding your reach, more supplies, even classes, where kids can learn to make their own sweets. A flicker of hope ignited in Emma's chest. Part of her yearned for prosperity, while the other half whispered the painful truth of compromise. The thought of a budget finally allowing her mother to rest, the thought of saving the stand from the jaws of despair, could that ever outweigh her stubbornness? But what about, she started, hesitating, the community? They won't like this idea. They think I've betrayed them. I would fight for you, for this place, and for my daughter, Greg pledged, his voice steady. We can frame it as a partnership. You get to keep the stand, keep the heart of it alive, while we both could benefit. It's not about ownership, it's about collaboration. Emma felt the stirrings of what could be, thoughts of possibilities danced in her mind like the summer breeze. Could she find common ground with a person she had considered to be her enemy? Could a partnership truly be more valuable than pride? Just as a smile threatened to break free from her uncertainty, the air felt charged, the weight of impending decisions pressing down on her. Greg turned to Emma, sincerity etched on his face. I want to help, Emma, but I need to know, can you trust me? The question lingered in the space between them, heavy with potential. Emma's heart raced, the moment stretching like an elastic band, caught between the past and the future. Could she take this leap of faith? In that quiet moment of doubt, she realized that sometimes, the hardest choice requires letting go of what you thought you knew. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over Maplewood, the decision loomed, and with it, a new perspective on what family and community truly meant. Emma took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the world bearing down on her as she prepared to answer Greg, ready to either make or break a connection that could change everything. Emma's pulse quickened. The afternoon light softened around them, as if the universe was holding its breath, waiting for her response. Every thought whirled in her head like autumn leaves caught in a playful breeze. Trust? It felt like a fragile word, one she had rarely held close in her life. She looked at Greg, really looked at him. Beneath the polished exterior, and his title was a father trying to save his daughter from a darkness he couldn't fix alone. There was a depth to his eyes that spoke of pain and hope, and Emma couldn't help but feel a stirring inside her, a twinge of empathy. I don't know, Greg, she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. This place, it's everything to me. How do I know you won't just swoop in and take over? How do I know you're not just after the image of yourself helping a local business? His shoulders dropped slightly, as if the weight of her words pressed heavily on him. I get it, Emma. You have every right to be cautious. But this isn't just about me or you. It's about Lily. She needs this, and so do you. Isn't that worth exploring? That word exploring sparked something in Emma. Wasn't that what she had always wanted? To expand her reach, to share her love for sweets beyond Maplewood. The idea of creating a community where kids could learn to make treats and share their laughter made her heart race with excitement. But could she really trust him? What if it doesn't work? She shot back, her protective instincts flaring. What if your involvement brings problems that I can't fix? Then we figure it out, Greg replied, his calmness a counter to her storm. Just like you did when you started this stand. You didn't run from obstacles then, did you? You faced them. His words hit home. Emma had always prided herself on her resilience, There was something beautiful in that challenge of working against the odds. But this was different. This was a man with resources, with connections, asking her to take a bold step into the unknown. How about we start small? Greg suggested, his voice soothing. What if we just try it for one summer? A few special events, pop-up classes, anything to see how it goes. You maintain control. I just help build it up. The sun dipped lower, shadows weaving intricate patterns around their feet. Emma's heart hurt with the weight of the decision. She loved this place, every creaky floorboard that carried the history of her family, every sugary creation that had drawn laughter and joy. Could she risk it for something that might never flourish? Or could embracing a partnership blossom into something more? I can't just, she began again, but Greg interrupted. What if the community sees this as a way to give back, not just to you but to their kids? Think of it, Emma, a legacy, not a loss. His words wrapped around her heart, and for the first time, she began to envision a brighter future. But just then, a sudden commotion burst from the crowd, angry voices raised, shadows shifting around them. Greg's eyes darted toward the noise, then back to her, filled with urgency. Emma, we may not have much time. If you don't answer now, someone else might step in. The community needs to know where you stand. The moment hung thick with uncertainty. As the voices grew louder, Emma felt the stakes rising. What would her answer be? A leap into an uncertain future, or a firm stance to protect the past? With her heart pounding, she found her voice. Let me think about it. The crowd continued to surge, and the reality of the moment pressed close. But even as she spoke, a deeper question floated in the air. Would this decision shape her destiny, or tear apart her dreams? She could almost taste the sweetness of potential, but it came with a bitter hint of doubt. What would she choose when the moment of truth arrived? The noise from the crowd swelled, an overlapping murmur of concern and curiosity. Emma felt her heart race as she turned her gaze from Greg to the sea of faces, each one searching for answers. The urgency of the moment made her skin prick with anxiety, as she weighed the gravity of her choice. Listen, Emma, Greg said, his voice barely breaking through the turmoil. People are watching. This could bring hope to so many. Just think of your stand as not just a place for sweets, but a launchpad for something greater. The thought danced in Emma's mind. Could her dream of creating joy through baking expand into something truly meaningful? Could she really be a catalyst for change? Her stomach churned with both excitement and fear. Can I trust you? She blurted out, desperate for clarification. What happens when it gets tough? He took a step closer, his eyes narrowing with sincerity. You will never be alone in this. Whatever comes our way, I'll be here for you and for Lily. We are building something together, so you'll have a say, a voice. She wanted to believe him, but doubt loomed like a storm cloud over her head. But if it all falls apart, Greg interrupted again, his tone unwavering. Then we'll rebuild. Together. Just like you've done before. The commotion intensified nearby. Emma noticed a boy in the front row watching her intently, his wide eyes filled with dreams of sugar and joy. The crowd's excitement pulsed like a heartbeat against her chest, triggering something within her. With every heartbeat, flashes of vibrant classes held at her stand flickered in her imagination, children laughing as they decorated cupcakes, parents sharing sweet memories created around the kitchen table, and friendships blossoming over frosting and sprinkles. I want to give back to this community, Emma whispered, the realization settling slowly in her heart. But what if I fail? Greg took her hands, warm and reassuring. What if you soar? She could feel the vibration of uncertainty in the air, mingling with hope. In that moment, everything seemed to hang in perfect balance. The buzzing voices fell silent, her past clashed against an uncertain future. Okay, I need a moment to breathe, Emma finally said, stepping back reluctantly. She turned her gaze to the clamor of the crowd, attempting to find a thread of stability in the chaos. Let us take a step back together, he suggested, and she nodded. They moved aside, away from prying eyes. As they found a quiet corner behind the stand, Emma took a deep breath, trying to quell the whirlwind of thoughts. Let us say I do this, she said slowly, weighing her words. How do I know you won't make it all about you? Greg sighed, the vulnerability breaking through his composed facade. Because I want my daughter to see the goodness in this world. I want her to find her light, just like I hope you can find yours. This isn't about my success, it's about all of us. His plea resonated deeply with Emma. But the nagging fear of trusting this man with her dreams clawed at her insides. Just then, an uproar from the crowd pulled both their attentions back. Someone stumbled forward, their expression a mix of anger and determination. Hey! What's really going on here? Every eye was drawn toward them, the crowd buzzing with anticipation. Emma could feel the weight of their expectations pressing on her shoulders. Sweat pooled beneath her arms as she locked eyes with Greg. What was she going to say? Did she even know what she wanted to do? The moment of silence felt monumental. This was more than just a decision about a summer venture. It was about trust, vulnerability, and where she wanted her life to lead. Would she grasp the opportunity or let it slip through her fingers? Emma, Greg urged quietly, his presence solid next to her. Taking a steadying breath, she prepared to share her truth. But as the boy stepped into the spotlight, his hopeful smile lit the air, she realized one thing: the future wasn't just about her anymore. What would Emma say to the crowd and to herself when it truly mattered? The boy stood there, his small frame almost hidden by the towering adults around him, but his bright smile broke through like a sunbeam. Emma's heart fluttered at the sight of him, representing all the dreams tied to her little sweets stand. She inhaled deeply, feeling the noise of the crowd fade slightly in comparison to this moment. Emma? He called, his voice ringing with eagerness. I believe in you. Please don't let us down. A wave of warmth washed over her. Did he really believe in her? She had so many doubts swirling in her mind, but his unwavering confidence felt like a lifeline. Taking a small step forward, she squared her shoulders, her heart pounding in rhythm with each beat echoing in the charging atmosphere. I believe in us too, she finally said, her voice gaining strength with every word. I want to share more than just sweets. I want to inspire hope and joy in this community. The crowd murmured, some nodding, others glancing at each other, uncertain what to make of this shift. Emma felt that spotlight on her, the boy's trust, the community's anticipation, and Greg's steady presence reassured her. Every cupcake I bake is not just a treat, it's a chance for connection, she explained, feeling a fire ignite within her. A chance to bring people together and create memories. I want kids like you to experience the joy of baking, to see their imaginations come alive. Her heart raced as she saw Greg watching, a proud glint in his eyes that bolstered her confidence. She turned to the crowd, her gaze sweeping through their faces. I know we all have our struggles. But what if, instead of letting them weigh us down, we embrace them, celebrate them through baking, and share that joy? A ripple of excitement swept through the gathering, and she leaned into it, finding her strength. Let us hold baking classes, share our stories, and maybe raise funds to support those in need in our neighborhood. The crowd buzzed with newfound energy. Emma could feel their curiosity shift into genuine enthusiasm. She continued, I want this place to be where connections are made, where laughter fills the air, and where we show that even a simple sweet treat can make a difference. The boy clapped his hands, jumping in excitement. Others followed suit, the clatter of applause roaring against the backdrop of surprised chatter. Greg stepped forward, his voice strong, and I'll help lead the charge. My daughter and I will be here every step of the way. This will be our project together. Emma beamed at him, the fear she had carried morphing into exhilaration. Yes, this was daunting, but he was right. They would rebuild whatever necessary together. But as Emma scanned the crowd, she noticed a shadow lurking at the edge, a figure with a scowl that stood out from the rest. Her stomach twisted as she recognized that unmistakable presence. It was Linda, her old rival, arms crossed, watching everything with disdain etched across her features. Uncertainty washed over her again like a cold wave. What was she doing? Are you sure you're ready for this, Emma? Linda shouted, rousing the crowd further. Do you really think you can pull this off? The doubts returned, her feet almost wanting to move back. But somehow, the warmth from the boy and the chorus of applause surrounded her once more. She swallowed hard, yearning to defy the doubt and fear. "This is only the beginning," Emma said, voice resolute as she clutched Greg's hand beside her. "I refuse to back down. Together, we'll make this happen." As cheers erupted around her, Emma caught a glimpse of Greg smiling, but inside her mind, shadows of uncertainty flickered like a candle poised to go out. Linda's sneer lingered in her thoughts, reminding her just how quickly doubt could creep in again. "Why not go for it, Emma? You've always been the underdog," she could almost hear Linda saying, her voice scratching against the back of her thoughts. Would Emma truly embrace this new opportunity, or would her past fears return to haunt her? Emma felt breathless at the thought but determined not to fail. The stakes were climbing. And with the crowd rallying behind her, she knew she had to keep moving forward. But how long could she stand tall in the face of challenges looming ahead? The crowd was ready. But was she prepared for what was on the horizon? Emma felt her heart racing as the cheers of the crowd echoed around her. Each clap, each shout filled her with a mix of excitement and fear. But even in that moment of triumph, Linda's biting words echoed in her ears. It was a reality check, a reminder of what was at stake and who was watching closely. "Together, we can create something beautiful." Greg's voice sliced through her anxious thoughts like a warm knife through butter. His unwavering support anchored her amidst the chaos. She gave him a grateful smile, but inside she wrestled with self-doubt. What if this all fell apart? What if they failed? A woman approached the stand, her face bright with curious energy. "Emma? This sounds incredible. Baking classes? I'd love to help." She pulled out a stack of flyers, already prepped with instructions on how the classes would operate. Emma's heart swelled at the enthusiasm. If they could get enough local helpers, this dream might really take shape. "I can contribute supplies too," another voice chimed in, an older man with a kind smile. "I run the local grocery store. We can work together." As people began to step forward, offering their skills and support, Emma's fears began to melt away. Hope surged through her like the sweet smell of vanilla wafting from her cupcakes. But just then, Linda took a step forward, her arms still crossed defiantly against her chest. The crowd fell silent, shifting uneasily. "Let us not get ahead of ourselves, shall we? What makes you think any of this will matter? Do you really think the community cares about your little baking project?" Emma felt a lump form in her throat. Those words? They cut deep. But this time, there was a fire in her core she hadn't expected. She wasn't that insecure girl anymore. She was growing. Every small gesture matters. Emma shouted back, surprising herself with the strength of her voice. "People are craving connection, creativity, and community. If even one child smiles because of our work, then it's worth it." The murmur of agreement washed over the crowd like a wave, pushing back the lingering shadows caused by Linda's doubts. Emma's confidence flickered but stayed ignited, fueled by the bright faces surrounding her, eager to help. Then something even more unexpected happened. A figure emerged from the back of the crowd. Dressed sharply in a tailored suit, he strode toward the stand, his presence commanding and warm. Emma recognized him immediately. Mr. Thompson, the town's reclusive millionaire known for his charitable endeavors but rarely making public appearances. "Stop!" he called out with authority, raising a hand to silence the crowd. Everyone turned to him, curiosity woven into their expressions. He extended a hand toward Emma. "What you're doing here is incredible. Count me in," he said, his voice booming but gentle. Emma blinked at him, mind racing. "You want to help?" "I do," he nodded, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "But I also want something in return. I've always believed that joy must be shared, especially through the eyes of a child. I'd like to buy out your sweets stand and transform it into something more, an art space where your classes will thrive and the community will be engaged." Gasps of surprise erupted around them. Emma's heart sank, and her mind scrambled. Would this be a betrayal of her vision? Did she truly want to let this stranger take the reins? "Wait," Emma managed to say, her voice catching in her throat. "What does that mean?" His eyes twinkled with warmth as he leaned closer. I want to support you, but I need you to promise me something. Together, we can change not just your sweet stand but this community as a whole. The crowd buzzed with excitement, yet Emma felt a knot tightening in her stomach. What if this grand offer came with strings attached? Would she still have control over her dream? A million questions whirled in her mind as emotions battled for dominance. What do you truly mean? She asked, unable to hide the tremor in her voice. Mr. Thompson took a step closer, earnestness radiating from him. If you trust me, this could be the start of something wonderful, but you must take a leap of faith. As he extended his hand toward her again, Emma stood at the precipice of a life-changing decision. Would she take the leap or retreat into the safety of doubt? Her heart hammered in her chest. Could she let go of her fears to embrace this unexpected opportunity? A choice lay before her, and she could feel the weight of everyone's gaze, waiting for her answer. Emma's mind raced as she gazed at Mr. Thompson's outstretched hand. She could feel the heat radiating from the crowd, an electric mix of anticipation and skepticism. It was as if the world around her had blurred, and all she could focus on was that hand, open and inviting, urging her to step into the unknown. Just trust me, his eyes seemed to say. But how could she agree so easily? This man, though undeniably persuasive and genuine, was still a stranger. What if this was a trap dressed up as an opportunity? The crowd murmured, their excitement palpable. Was this what they had all been waiting for? Some lifted their phones, ready to capture this moment. The whispers floated through the air, each word another layer of pressure added to her decision. What will she do? Can this really work? She looked to Greg, who stood nearby, his expression a mix of support and concern. There was a glimmer in his eye that told her he believed in her, no matter the outcome. But Emma felt the weight of responsibility. This was not just about her anymore. It was about the dreams of the children she wanted to inspire, the community she hoped to connect, and the very essence of who she was becoming. Emma? Called the woman with the flyers, her voice bright and encouraging. This could change everything for you. But Linda's earlier words echoed in Emma's mind, slicing through the enthusiasm. People don't care about your little baking project. Would they, embrace this new vision? What if Mr. Thompson was just offering a hand but a tether that could pull her in a direction she never wanted to go? Tentatively, Emma raised her hand, her heart racing. What happens if I say yes? She asked, her voice steady despite the uncertainty that churned inside her. Mr. Thompson smiled wider. If you say yes, we'll work together to create a beautiful space where children can learn, make art, and discover their potential. You'll still lead the baking classes. I'll support everything you want to cultivate. But you need to be clear with me about your vision. This is your dream. Her breathing slowed a fraction as she considered his words. Did she want the pressure of more responsibility weighing on her? But then again, the thought of her baking classes blossoming into something even grander felt like a wild dream, one worth chasing. I need time, Emma finally managed, her voice barely above a whisper. You have all the time in the world to think about it, Mr. Thompson replied. But I can't promise that this opportunity will last long. Others will want my support if they see that you're serious about your vision. His words hung in the air, a challenge and an invitation. Emma looked around. The crowd was watching her, hope glimmering in their eyes. But she also saw the shadows of doubt lingering. Was it worth it? Could she carry the weight of an entire community's expectations along with her own? With trembling hands, she reached out toward Mr. Thompson's outstretched hand. She hesitated, but then she made her decision. I'll do it. Before she could finish her sentence, a sharp scream sliced through the air, freezing everyone in place. Heads whipped around toward the direction of a loud commotion from the far side of the stand. Emma's breath caught in her throat as her heart plummeted. What now? Panic rippled through the crowd, eyes wide and faces pale. Was someone in trouble? Adrenaline surged, mixing with confusion and an underlying fear that something was about to disrupt everything she had worked so hard to build. As she turned to see what had caused the disturbance, she couldn't shake the feeling that this moment might change everything once more. What lay beyond the chaos? And could she regain control of her dreams amidst the unexpected events about to unfold? The crowd's murmurs morphed into frantic whispers as Emma squinted through the throng. She spotted the epicenter of the commotion. A small child had toppled over, ice cream splattered across the pavement. The air seemed to freeze, with every eye drawn to the scene like moths to a flame. As if in slow motion, she watched the boy's mother rush forward, panic etched in her features. Emma felt a knot tighten in her stomach. She wasn't a doctor or a hero. She was just a woman trying to run a baking project for a community she loved. But in that moment, she felt something ignite within her. It was empathy, a surge of instinct to help. Without thinking, she surged forward, her heart pounding in her chest. "Let me help!" she called out, her voice louder than the uncertainty that threatened to encompass her. Kneeling beside the boy, she saw his teary eyes and realized her own heart was breaking for him. "Hey there," she said softly, crossing her arms around his tiny frame. "It's okay. We all slip up sometimes." Brushing a speck of ice cream from his cheek, she reached into her bag. "Would some cookies make you feel better?" He looked up at her, eyes wide with surprise. The boy nodded, his little mouth resembling an open treasure chest, and for a moment, the commotion faded behind them. Fireflies of hope began to flicker in the crowd as they watched Emma kneeling, a beacon of support amidst the sea of uncertainty. Seconds later, Mr. Thompson joined her on the ground, taking the child's other hand. "You know," he said gently, "sometimes the sweetest moments come after the messiest accidents." He offered the boy a small smile that radiated warmth. "Together, we can create something amazing." Emma took a deep breath, the initial shock of chaos calming as she focused on this child. Life had a way of veering off the road, taking unexpected turns amid the sweet and sour. This was exactly what her baking vision was about: resilience, joy, and nurturing young spirits. As the boy began to giggle at Mr. Thompson's silly faces, Emma felt a wave of relief wash over her. Maybe this was the moment she'd always needed. But even as she smiled, she couldn't shake the uneasy feeling in her gut. The moment of laughter was working its way through the crowd, but what about her dream? Would it still be there when the dust settled? Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted again, and Emma turned to see Greg approaching, pushing through the onlookers. His face was pale, more serious now. "Emma," he said breathlessly, "I just heard something. You need to be careful." Before Emma could respond, the boy's mother returned, now smiling and wiping her son's tears. "Thank you," she whispered to Emma, the warmth and sincerity in her voice a small comfort. But in that instant, Greg's expression revealed more than mere concern. It hinted at something darker lurking beneath the surface of the day's events. "What do you mean?" Emma asked, her voice barely above a whisper, a chill creeping up her spine. "I couldn't hear everything," but he hesitated, his gaze shifting. "There are people who want to take this opportunity from you before it even starts." Emma's heart raced again, but this time it was fueled with a prickling fear. What if the chaos she faced today was just the beginning of something much larger? As she stood there, caught between the laughter of children and the shadows gathering in her mind, she wondered what the next move would bring. She could feel the weight of her dream pressing down, stronger than before, leaving her with one haunting question: would she be able to stand her ground when the stakes were rising? With the crowd's attention still lingering, could she even begin to fathom the challenges that lay ahead? Emma took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heartbeat. The laughter of the boy swirled around her, but in her mind, shadows donned faces of doubt and dread. She suddenly felt the weight of everyone's eyes on her, the joy of the moment crumbling like a sandcastle under the tide. "Emma," Greg urged, ensuring they were out of earshot of the crowd, "I need you to think. If someone wanted to sabotage your project, they wouldn't just go for it. They'd create chaos like this." The way he looked at her, hope tinged with worry, cast a gnarled twist in her stomach. "What should we do?" she asked, voice shaking slightly. "We've got to find out who's behind this before it spirals out of control," he said, his eyes darting to the people milling around, faces still buzzing with excitement. "I know it feels overwhelming, but you need to be cautious. They won't hesitate if they see a chink in your armor." As the word settled, Emma cast her gaze around the park. Children played. Parents chatted amiably. It was supposed to be a celebration, but with each passing moment, her mind turned the greeting smiles into masks. She was terrified of what might lurk behind those smiles. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, she murmured, trying to convince herself that everything was fine. No, Greg replied firmly. I've learned that in business, you can't ignore gut feelings. There's something brewing. What if I mean, why would they target my baking project? It's just supposed to be a fun, simple initiative. Greg took a step closer, his voice just above a whisper. Sometimes, the simplest things lead to the biggest change. And someone powerful might not like that. The mention of power sparked a memory in Emma, the whispers she overheard about a local millionaire, known for sweeping in with deep pockets to shut down small businesses. You're saying a millionaire? Greg nodded grimly. Word is he has been eyeing the land here, and a community project like yours could attract too much attention. The festival blurred as Emma's thoughts spiraled. This was supposed to be her chance to uplift the community, bring people together, but suddenly it felt like an uphill battle, every step precarious. Look, Greg said, placing a comforting hand on her arm, we'll figure this out. You have people who care about you, about your vision. As if on cue, Mr. Thompson, who was still trying to make the boy laugh, caught Emma's eye and waved. She realized she wasn't alone. She had the support of a community rooted in love, just like the cookies she baked. Gathering her resolve, she straightened her shoulders. You're right. I can't let fear define my project. Whatever happens, I need to move forward and protect it. A spark of determination fueled her spirit, but it was quickly snuffed out as she remembered the unsettling feeling in her gut. But how? Before Greg could respond, a woman's voice rang out, causing both of them to turn. Emma? Can I speak with you for a moment? Emma recognized the woman immediately. It was Mrs. Henderson, the town's most influential figure, known for her high society events. Her heart raced yet again, this time for a different reason. What could Mrs. Henderson possibly want? As she approached, Emma noticed that the woman's expression bore gravity, the excitement of the festival overshadowed by urgency. Emma braced herself for whatever news would follow. It felt like the calm before a storm. Emma, Mrs. Henderson began, her voice steady, I need to discuss something important with you about the future of your project. Emma held her breath. Was this the moment everything would change? Would she be able to stand firm against the shadows gathering around her dream? With uncertainty gripping her thoughts, she wondered, what kind of request awaited her, and how would it reshape her vision for the community? Emma stood before Mrs. Henderson, her heart racing. The world around her faded, leaving just the two of them in a bubble of tension. It felt like a storm was brewing, and she was standing directly in its path. Mrs. Henderson, what's going on? Emma asked, her voice steady despite the fluttering anxiety in her stomach. Mrs. Henderson glanced around, ensuring they wouldn't be overheard. I'd been following the developments of your project, and I must say, it's radiating potential. But there's something you need to know. She paused, as if weighing her words delicately. Emma's mind raced. Was this about Mr. Thompson's offer? About the chaos surrounding her sweet stand? Your project poses a risk to some folks in the town. There are powerful interests that see you as a threat to their plans. They believe your success might disrupt their control over this community, she explained. The weight of those words settled heavily in Emma's chest. She felt the room swirl around her. There were people who wanted to shut down her dreams before they'd even taken flight? Fear flickered through her, but it was intertwined with a deep, stirring strength, a refusal to be pushed aside. Is there anything I can do? Emma asked, her voice firm. This project is meant to help. I can't let them destroy that chance for my community or me. Mrs. Henderson offered a brief nod of respect. That's the spirit, Emma. But caution is key. I suggest you gather supportive voices. You need the community behind you. They can't silence you if you're strong together. A plan began to form in Emma's mind. You're right. If we stand united, we can face this challenge. The thought sparked a sense of hope, renewed energy bubbling within her. Exactly. Organize a community meeting, involve everyone, parents, kids, everyone who believes in your vision, Mrs. Henderson encouraged. Draw them in and solidify your stand. The louder your voice, the more difficult it will be for them to try and snuff out your fire. Emma straightened, a new determination lighting up her eyes. I can do this. I want to do this. As she turned to leave, a wave of gratitude washed over her for having Mrs. Henderson at her side. There was power in the bonds they shared. Mrs. Henderson's clear trust made her feel less alone amidst the swirling uncertainty. Emma raced back to the crowd, her heart alive with possibility. She glanced at Greg, who was still near the ice cream fiasco, joyfully cheering up the little boy. Next, her gaze fell on Mr. Thompson, a kind smile playing on his face as he interacted with the children, spreading joy. Gather everyone, she called out, her voice bursting with newfound energy. I need your help. People turned, curiosity piqued. Emma could feel her heart racing wildly, but there was a steady undercurrent of resolve building within her. Let us rally together, she urged as the crowd drew closer to her, listening intently. I've learned that our sweet little stand is about more than just sweets, it's about connection and community. A murmur of agreement flowed through the group. Faces lit with hope. I've faced uncertainty these past few weeks, she continued, her fingers trembling slightly as she clutched her apron. But I refuse to let anyone take away what we've built together. The applause began to rise, brewing excitement in the air. Emma's heart surged. I want to hold a community meeting, everyone who believes in our vision of joy. Let us gather our voices, show them what we're made of. Chants of support erupted, swelling through the crowd, touching each onlooker with warmth and unity. Yes, together, they echoed, eager to lend their hands to build, support, and strengthen their community. She turned to Greg and Mr. Thompson, sharing a look that spoke volumes. They stood together like pillars of strength. This wasn't just her battle anymore. This was a shared fight for everyone who called Maplewood home. Days turned into nights as Emma organized the meeting, fueled by hope and unwavering support. Posters decorated the streets, whispers of encouragement filled the air, and familiar faces turned up with warm smiles and open hearts. The evening of the gathering arrived. The park was alive with laughter, anticipation crackling in the air. Children raced back and forth, but Emma's focus remained sharp, centered on the task at hand. Her stand had drawn them all here, igniting unity, gathering voices towards a common goal. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over the crowd, Emma addressed them all. Thank you for being here, she began, her heart soaring as she looked into their eyes. Tonight, we stand together not just for my dreams but for the soul of Maplewood. It's more than our dreams. It represents our hopes. She spoke further, weaving stories about her stand, how it wasn't merely a sweets shop, but a place that embodied their love, connection, and community spirit. We need to protect this, she said passionately. For every child's laughter echoed here. For every family looking for joy, let us show them we won't back down. The cheers erupted, laughter mingling with shouts of agreement filling the night air, every face glowing with enthusiasm and hope. Their unity was a force, a shared dream sweeping through the park like the sweetest melody. And within Emma, realization blossomed. This wasn't just about baking. It was about the heart of who they all were. Their community was a tapestry woven through love and shared triumphs. They wouldn't let anyone tear that down. In the end, Emma found her strength, wrapped in the countless voices rallying behind her against the darker shadows that lingered. They would rise together, transforming their fears into something beautiful and unforgettable. As they cheered, Emma locked eyes with Greg and Mr. Thompson. They smiled softly, reassuring her that she wasn't alone. With renewed sense of purpose, she embraced the magic of the moment, heart ready to face any challenge that lay ahead. Emma realized she wasn't just baking a legacy. She was creating an unbreakable bond that would shine brightly even in the darkest times. Now it was time to build that future, and nothing could dim the light they had ignited together. Are you ready to support our journey? Subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because every click counts. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiring journey. Together, we can build something amazing.